Dear Capricorn, this transit is among the most important of the year, for the Sun moves into the sign of Cancer, directly opposite your sign, which strongly highlights relationships, partnerships, and direct dealings with others. After a period in which you focused on daily work, duties, responsibilities, and organization, a phase now begins in which the role of others becomes more influential in your personal and professional trajectory. Over the coming 4 weeks, you will discover that many achievements or challenges are tied not to what you do alone, but to your way of managing relationships and cooperating with the people around you. Thus, professional, emotional, and family partnerships enter the circle of light, and you might be compelled to reassess certain relationships to know which support your stability and which consume your energy. The presence of the Sun in Cancer pushes you to achieve an important balance between your natural independence and your need for cooperation and understanding with others, and during this stage you might learn that certain great goals cannot be reached by individual effort alone. On the side of the astrological angles, the square of the Sun with Neptune toward the end of June could cause a certain misunderstanding or vagueness in communication or close relationships. It is therefore better not to rush into interpreting situations, or into making clear-cut decisions on the basis of incomplete information. With the arrival of the square of the Sun with Saturn at the start of July, a phase begins that requires you to balance between your high responsibilities and the demands of relationships or partnerships. You might sometimes feel that time is not enough to satisfy all commitments, but this angle helps you set healthy boundaries and organize your priorities better. As for the conjunction of the Sun and retrograde Mercury, in mid-July, it could bring back into your life a person from the past, open the door to a postponed dialogue or an old partnership in need of being reviewed. Certain legal, professional, or emotional matters could also return to the forefront to be dealt with definitively. In general, this stage carries important lessons of cooperation, trust, and the balance between giving and receiving. On the emotional level, for the single person, this period is very important, for the Sun activates the house of relationships and marriage in your birth chart. Opportunities for a serious meeting could appear with a person endowed with the traits of stability and maturity you are seeking. You might reconsider an earlier relationship or receive contact from a person you knew in the past, especially during the retrograde Mercury period. For the person in a relationship, the relationship becomes an essential axis during this stage, and you might concern yourself with discussing matters tied to the future, commitments, or shared decisions. And if things are handled with frankness and clarity, this period is capable of strengthening stability and consolidating the bonds between you. On the practical, financial, social, and professional levels, the importance of collective work and professional partnerships grows, and you might achieve notable progress thanks to cooperation with a person endowed with experience or influence, who helps you reach your goals faster. Financially, certain financial decisions could be tied to agreements, contracts, or shared projects. It therefore matters to review the details carefully, especially during the retrograde Mercury period, and not to rely on verbal promises alone. Socially, encounters, contacts, and direct interactions multiply, and your circle of acquaintances could widen, or you might form new relationships carrying important long-term benefits. As for health, your condition is stable overall, but the pressures arising from the attempt to reconcile the demands of work and those of relationships could lead to a certain mental fatigue. It therefore matters to allow yourself periods of rest and to restore your psychological balance. It is also advisable not to suppress your feelings or to bear pressures alone, for dialogue with trusted people could ease many tensions. A word of advice for you: true strength does not mean carrying everything alone. During this transit, you will discover that certain successes need a partner, that certain solutions need dialogue, and that certain doors only open through cooperation. Open the field to the right relationships, for one of the people entering your life during this period could be an important part of your near future.